I've always loved the sound of a baby crying. I guess I'm just weird that way, but from a joy point of view, not anything else. So is it okay to let them cry? Some think they are trying to tell us something, so we better comfort them immediately. Well, that's a really interesting question, Philip. And I'm with you in that I think crying for an infant is the only way that they can communicate.
Absolutely.
When there's frustration. Now, I'm always discerning for pain. You know, if I hear pain, I'm on it immediately.
Mm-hmm.
If and I'm searching, you know, it's a horrible thing, but we have this nice little changing table that was built beautiful out of teak. It's just this gorgeous, simple thing. But you know, the diapers are on the second shelf, and the little salve is on the shelf on the top, and all that. And I'm in charge of poopy diapers. That's my thing. But grabbed a diaper one day, didn't even think, but just caught my eye. There was a scorpion inside the diaper.
Oh my gosh.
There was a scorpion. And if I hadn't seen that, and I had put the diaper on him, and he would be crying in pain. Scorpions here are not life-threatening, but they're like a really bad mosquito bite or a bee sting. But he'd be crying in pain. I'd never know why.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
if I hear pain
Mm-hmm.
in his cry, I'm on it, and I don't stop until I can understand where it's coming from. If
Absolutely.
it's a frustration, if it's a just expressing himself, I'll say, I know, I feel the same way right now.
Yeah. Empathize with them, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, there's a lot of crying it out method. I know that's been around, especially for sleep training, Dr. Tom. And I really dove into this too, because that's one of the things. Oh, just let them cry, let them fall asleep. And that's been around since 1880s. But now recent sciences have actually showed that when we let a child that's really distressed, that can actually cause a little bit more harm to that child, because as the child grows from being held, that specific crying, I mean, think about it. Would you like to be just left in a room crying all day long without knowing where your parents have gone? That's really traumatic. And actually that can even like kill off some neuronal connections, because too much stress then can activate and actually suppress the glial cell division and the glial cells to take care of the myelin. They take care of the myelination. And so specifically for a child, like let's say crying it out method, now that we're talking about this, kids don't know how to self-regulate. So they actually just sort of stop trusting. And so the best way to do that, especially at night, if that's what, I don't know if that's also what she's talking about, to create a sort of like a soothing routine. And then there's something called gentle sleep training, where you can hold your child. And this is what I did with mine. And it was so awesome. Yes, they were, if you're just holding them, you're sitting there patting their backs and giving them I used to give them my scarf where they would smell. And then I'm like, no, you just got to sleep right here. And I'm right here next to you. And they'll whine a little bit, maybe cry just a little, but you're soothing them the entire time, just to recognize that would just probably last for, like 10, 15 minutes, just while I'm soothing them. And then after that, they, as you're holding them, you're singing to them, you're soothing them through the crib, knowing that this is where their new beds are, depending. Because for me, I had lots of other babies, one after another. If I had them all in my bed, it was probably, it was really, my sleep was suffering. So really showing them this way, and that way you have more gentle, mindful sleep training. And that way the child was able to understand that you're not going anywhere. Oh, she just wants me to sleep here. So that was just something, a side note in that crying that we hear a lot of.
Yeah, Marzi is has a very similar approach.
Yes.
She does not agree with letting.
No, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine.
Right. And that's a whole long discussion.
That's a whole long discussion. So I just wanted to just point that out there.
People will feel threatened because they may have done that with their children, and their children slept good. Their kids are great now, and all of that.
Yeah.
And so
every child's different.
You're right. they may want to defend that position, but there's new science.
There's lots of new science out there,
And
and there's lots of fun different ways to do it, and whatever works best for your family, Doctor.
Right, right.
Whatever works best for your family, that's what really matters.